You guys know I love podcasting and listening to podcasts, and I'm guessing if you're listening to this that you love podcasts too. Have you ever considered podcasting yourself? It is a great way to reach your audience, grow your know, like and trust factor, and not need to show your face unless you want to. If it is something you've thought about but you don't know where to start, then head over to becomeapodcaster.uk/BAP quiz, BAP quiz, to access a 2-minute quiz that will help you work out what type of podcast might suit you. That's becomeapodcaster.uk/BAP quiz. You're listening to the Mindset and Action podcast, bringing you the map to grow and streamline your business in 2023. I'm your host, Donna Eade, your go-to gal for all things podcasting, planning and productivity. And I'll be bringing you all that plus mindset goodness from experts with knowledge to share. Let's make 2023 the year of success in your business. Lost time is never found again. Benjamin Franklin. Today on the show, we have Simon Severino. He is the author of the book Strategy Sprints and the CEO and co-founder of the consulting firm Strategy Sprints. Our guest scaled their consultancy and it was able to retire from the operations side of it. And furthermore, he has helped thousands of entrepreneurs reach financial freedom to where they too have a firm that runs without being dependent on them. Much of the information that he provides helps leaders within the B2B world, but you only have to look at the content of his books to know that his message can assist anyone looking to up-level their daily business career performance. He is an established speaker, having spoken with TEDx and the highly acclaimed podcast Entrepreneurs on Fire, and today he brings his superpower of scaling businesses to our community. I'm so excited to get into this conversation with Simon. Let's jump in. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I am so excited to have you here today, and I am really excited to have another guest with me today. And we're traveling again, guys. We are crossing the water. Simon, welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad to have you here.
Hey, Donna. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so obviously the accent kind of gives it away that you are not here in the UK with me. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what it is that you do, and where are you based?
I'm an Italian in Austria, in Vienna, Austria. I am a shrink turned CEO and sales coach, and I help business owners regain 12 hours per week to work on their business, not just in their business, and to solve sales problems, because those are the most vital problems to have in this environment. The number one thing we want to have is a full pipeline, because that de-risks our journey as business owners. So I'm working with people on filling the pipeline and closing the pipeline, and having fun doing that.
Oh, yes. Wouldn't it be nice if it was just fun? I love that. And one of the things that you said there, and what I think a lot of people struggle with, is time management. You know, we're all like, oh, I'm time poor. I haven't got time to do that. I haven't got time to do that. And I like to think that a lot of that is actually in our heads. And the fact that we keep telling ourselves that we haven't got time is the reason that we haven't got time. But we are busy people. A lot of us are, you know, family. We've got family. We've got children. We're sort of balancing all the plates. And it can be very difficult. But one of the things you mentioned in your intro there was that you help people get time back so they can work on their business instead of in their business. And I think that's a really big distinction to make that I think a lot of people get confused with. So I thought the first thing I would love for you to do is to just explain to people what the difference is between working on and in your business, and why it's important that we know that difference and work on it.
Yeah, let's say you are a consultant and you help people with financial decisions. Now, working in the business means you have your client hours, client calls, client Zoom meetings, and you are helping them solve their problems. That's what you get paid for. That's in the business. Client work is in the business. Then there is administrative stuff. still in the business, documenting the client, billing the client, checking if the client paid, admin around operations. Now, if you do that 8 hours per day, you have two problems. First, you have tied now income to time. Very bad idea, because time is limited.
Yeah.
And you can't make more of that. So very bad idea. First thing that we have to do is to disconnect those two things. So your money will come from the impact that you are able to do, but not from the time that you have to put in it. So think of a book. I just wrote this book, is getting translated into Chinese. They will pay just for the IP. It's zero time from me. I wrote it once, but every country that wants it in their language pays for the IP. It's IP lending. So you do something once, but it can work for you multiple times. This is how you uncouple that. And so that was the first problem. You are now tying your income to money, to time.
Yeah.
And the second problem is, if you solve for 8 hours the problems of others, when are you solving yours? Who is solving yours? Probably nobody. So it's on you. If it's on you, when are you going to do that? And that's why, and what are the problems? The problems are improving form, fit, and function of the sales system, improving form, fit, and function of the marketing system, improving form, fit, and function of how you onboard clients, of how you create wow moments, and how you get referrals from them, how you have them send over all their friends because they're so happy about it. That won't happen by itself, and it doesn't happen just by doing good work. Doing good work will just create some happy clients and make you very tired, and that's not enough. That's not enough. It leads to burnout usually, and to very stressful months, because some months you don't have clients, and then you go, oh, now I should start sales. But that's usually too late, because there is a lag time. The moment you start doing prospecting, it takes 2 months, 3 months until they realize into a client. So that's why what we help business owners do in one-on-one coaching is, month one, freeing up time. So they write down how they are allocating their time. We help them find the time suckers and then free up bit by bit, 2 hours, 3 hours, then freeing up a full day. Typically the Monday or the Friday becomes a non-client day. And this is when you can start working on your business. Okay, let me think about how I start conversations, how I track them, how I can better follow up, how I can forget less people that are actually interested, how I can create a referral campaign where they send me their friends or they introduce me to somebody else who needs this. You need time to do that. So we help them free up time. First couple hours, then a day, and then 12 hours per week. Now in the second month, with that 12 hours, we work on improving the sales system and the marketing system. So now we get more conversations going, and we help them find what's actually fun. We talked about fun, and most people say, oh, sales, I hate sales. I get it, but it doesn't need to be like that, because life is sales. If you have children, I have 3 children. If I want to mountain bike with them on the weekend, I have to start on Monday to do marketing for it. On Wednesday, I have to get selling. If I didn't sell it by Thursday, it's over. I have no chance we're going to go mountain biking.
I love that.
So it's normal human interaction. If it comes from the heart, from a big heart, it's just normal human interaction. That's sales. It's influencing decisions. And if it comes from a good place, there is no reason we should actually feel not aligned with our values. What happened over the decades is there are some schools of sales that tell you, this is the script, this is what you do. Now go out there and be an actor, play this role.
Yeah.
Of course, we hate it because it's not us. It's not in integrity. It's not real. You wouldn't do that with your friends. So you feel like dirty when you do that. And that's the absolute wrong approach. What we do in our one-on-one coaching, the strategy sprints method is all about you being real, being like you would be to your friends, to your kids, to your cousins, and just how can you be of service and how can you help and be of value. And those conversations are very natural. Yes, there are talking points, but they're not scripts.
Yeah.
There are talking points. You are ready to answer some questions that will come, and you are very prepared for those questions. But it's a natural conversation. So sales can be very natural and can be fun. Actually, I love the sales part. I have outsourced everything in my business. I don't do operations. I don't do marketing. But I still do sales because to me, that's the fun part.
Mm. Oh, I love that for you. I think that I'm in the other camp. A lot of people that struggle. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, and I think it is a learning process. But I think a lot of people have that fear of sales, like coming across as a sleazy salesman and stuff. And it's very much something that needs working on in your mindset, because, like you say, when you are selling something that you believe in and you think that it's going to help somebody, you're not selling. Like I find it really easy to sell other people. Like if I believe in what somebody else is doing, I will recommend them all day long.
Yeah.
Yet I struggle to do it for myself. And it's like, well, you're doing the same thing. You know, you're there because you want to help somebody. So I completely get that. And thank you for that differentiation of working in and on your business, because I think people often don't really understand the two differences there. So that's important. And one of the things that came out of what you just said that I think a lot of people don't realize is that there is this time that's available to them. Because I think a lot of times people think, okay, if I need to be working on my business instead of in it, then I need to outsource all that admin stuff. And you've said that you've outsourced everything, which is great. But for those people that haven't got the money yet in their budget to be able to outsource, knowing that you can find this time for yourself so that you can do it is great. What would you say is like the optimal sort of ratio of working on your business versus in it?
You start with passionate work, and at some point you become the bottleneck, and then you feel it because, you know, your friends miss you, your family misses you, and then you say, okay, now I have to change something. At that point, you start writing down how you are allocating your time. And I have a little helper, a little template, and it's open source. People can download it. I use it every day since 21 years. It's the daily flow. It's just writing down 7 a.m. I did this, 8 a.m. I did this, etc. And then in the evening, when I close down the working day and go for dinner or stop the work day, it has two reflective questions. One is, Simon, of all the tasks that you did today, which one will you delegate tomorrow? And delegation can be to a software, just to nobody, just cutting it, to a freelancer or to a colleague. And the second question is, Simon, if you would live more freely and more intentionally, what would you do tomorrow? And now, informed with this little reflection, I create the flow of tomorrow. So I write down the hard landscape of tomorrow. And I don't completely make it full, just a hard landscape. In between, I want some wiggle room. If the weather is fine, I want to go mountain biking or play with my kids. And then the day for tomorrow is designed, is set. So when I come to my desk the next day, I'm in flow already, and the first part of the day is deep work, and then in the afternoon there are things that involve other people, like meetings and podcasts, etc., because it's a different energy. Yeah. And so my morning is clear, my afternoon is clear, and there is some freedom in it, some wiggle room, depending on the weather and on the mood. I will use that, either more workouts or more reading or something else. And in that way, over time, I can make the day serve me. Because what many entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning, think is they have to hustle. They have to grind. You don't have to grind. You can start immediately by having fun. Yes, the first years, it's more important that you focus on sales and on operations. Don't waste your time on marketing. It's not that important. But then bit by bit, you start delegating. So think of, there are tasks that costs $10 an hour, $100 an hour, and over $1,000 an hour. Start with the $10 ones, make sure software does that. Then the next higher task, freelancers. And if you want a rule, okay, when should I start? How much revenue? As long as you can make 3 times that in an hour. So let's say, should I do my bookkeeping? My bookkeeping costs $30 an hour. In that hour, if I give it to a bookkeeper outside, can I make $90 in that hour? Oh yeah, I can. So bookkeeping outsourced. Same thing with the other tasks. The initiating a conversation. Should I do it? Should somebody else do it? Closing the deal, closing the conversation. Should I do it? Somebody else. Client work itself. Should I do it or somebody else? I can start teaching others. I have a certification model. So the way I got out of operations, I'm a coach. So I could immediately be the bottleneck. I can only have a limited amount of clients because then Simon's time is up per week. I can't take more clients. So I got inspiration from the McDonald's franchise model. Everybody can open up a McDonald's. They pay per month. They can use the brand and the processes because that's the valuable part.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. So I worked on the brand. I worked on the processes. As soon as I had them, I said, okay, now people can pay per month and they can become a certified strategy sprints coach. 60 days of training. And then you rock your country. And this way, I'm not limited now anymore to 10 or 20 clients. We can have 300 clients per month. And that has opened up time for me because I freed up 40 hours per week by doing that. And now I can think about other things, IP landing, writing a book that gets translated in other languages, which is, again, adding additional revenue streams that are not tied to my time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I really want to sort of pull on that point that you were talking about when you're outsourcing, can you make more money in that time? And one of the things I've spoken about this before, because it's one of the things I think people really sort of get stuck in the weeds about, paying somebody else a certain amount of money. And I always say, but how long does it actually take you? So bookkeeping, not necessarily a simple task. You've got to have all your receipts and blah, blah, blah. And you've got to have a bit of maths knowledge. Some people really struggle with that. It could take you 3 hours to do that. Whereas it could take a bookkeeper 1 hour. So you pay them £30 for that 1 hour. And you said, can you make £90 in an hour? Yes. Well, could you make 3 times 90 in 3 hours? Yes. Then think about the money that you can make with that time. And I think when you think of it in that way, outsourcing becomes a much easier yes for people. So I love that. You've mentioned your book a couple of times and I can see it in the background there. I'm not going to get you to point to it because we'll be on the wrong side again, but yay, well done. It's called Strategy Sprints, as we can see. Can you explain to us, because this is sort of your model of working, isn't it? So can you explain to us what a strategy sprint is and an example of how they work?
Yes, it's a coaching cycle of 90 days. We coach a business owner for 90 days on removing all sales obstacles until their sales is fun and soars. And on the other side, freeing up time, especially disconnecting time from income. So helping them create value in a way that builds for them. It builds like an asset where you build it once, but you sell it often. For example, an online course, you build it once, you can sell it hundreds of times. A book, a program. So ours is also a program, a 90 days coaching program, because it's very, very targeted to only B2B business owners with a specific size. They are around 35K per month in revenue, and we get them to 70K per month in revenue in those 90 days. Because it is so narrow, you can totally standardize it, optimize it around those two things. And the outcomes are only two things. You have 12 hours more per week, and you have better sales. That's it. So it's all optimized around those. Every day they get a prompt and a very specific template to implement, and a one-to-one coach. Because when you implement stuff, it's great to have somebody to ask, oh, I didn't get this. Oh, I forgot to do this. So you have more accountability. And it's, again, more fun to implement things when you can talk it through with somebody. So you get a strategy sprints coach, and in 90 days, first month, freeing up time. Second month, improving sales. Third month, scaling what works. Now, the problem is, there are so many tasks when you run a business. So what should you focus on? We have the daily habit, weekly habit, and monthly habit. Those are the only three things that are always in your control. The daily habit is the daily flow, and people can download it on the website. It's strategysprints.com/tools. This daily flow is, how did I allocate my time? What can I delegate next? This will be done every day and shared with the sprint coach. And I do this every day myself. And every day I find something new. Like last week, I've delegated hiring. I said, I'm spending so much time on hiring interviews. I don't want to talk to so many people that in the end don't become my colleague.
Yeah.
Can somebody else do this? And then somebody in the team said, yeah, I can do that. It's wonderful.
Hours back.
Yes. And so, but how did I find it? By writing it down and reviewing it with that tool. Then there is the weekly habit. Sprint dashboard of one marketing number, one sales number, one operations number, client delivery number. That matters most right now. We pick one each for 90 days, and we measure the progress every 7 days. By doing that, you answer the question of all the things that we're doing, which one are actually working? Because most people do too many things because they don't know which activities are actually having an impact. If you knew that 20% of your activities have 80% of the impact, wouldn't you focus just on those 20 and then enjoy tennis and mountain biking and walking the dog?
Absolutely.
Everybody would.
Yeah.
Everybody would. So the only reason why we are overworked is that we don't know which activities are working, which aren't. That's why I created the sprint dashboard for us to solve that problem. And now we're sharing it with everybody because it's helpful.
Yeah.
That's the weekly habit. And then there is the monthly habit, strategic analysis. What is competitors doing? Where are they winning? Where are we winning? We cut 15%, 20% costs from the two features where we are not winning, and we reinvest them into the two features where we are currently winning. Let me give you an example. There is a photographer in California, and she does wedding photography.
Yeah.
And there are many wedding photographers in California, as you can imagine.
Yep.
So what she did is, how can I stand out? She did this monthly thing. And then she found out I was really impressed. There is a specific stone on the beach that on very specific occasions at 5 p.m. has an orange light. So what she did is one landing page, 10 pictures of couples in that orange light. And it's just wonderful. And now she's already there 4 p.m. and she only takes people in that location optimized for that light only in that hour.
Yeah.
And she is now the orange queen, the orange photographer. She's the orange lady of California. And she's crushing it because she's so differentiated, and it's so easy to tell your friends, yeah, go to the orange lady. She does only that. Just at that time, other photographers are trying to sneak in. They don't get in because she's already there. She knows when the light is coming. And that's an example. If you just do this quick review, you will find an angle that can be unique, can be your thing, becomes easier for you to be referred to, be introduced to. People can say, yeah, call Donna, she's the orange lady. And also you can rebudget. Now she doesn't need to buy 5 different cameras. She just needs one camera with 3 lenses. So that's how we call it sprint budgeting. Every month you really think about where should you reinvest in and do just smart investments. Because as a small business, you want to preserve cash flow and be very, very smart with your investments.
Yeah.
Ideally, you have 0 costs and just smart investments.
Yeah.
So
love that. Love that.
Yeah.
And I love the 90 days as well. I think that's something that a lot of people can let 90 days go by really, really quickly without having changed anything. And I'm somebody who plans my business on quarterly goals. I'm like, so every 90 days, there's new goals. And, I'm frog in my throat. So I think 90 days is a really good, because it's not too long that it's like, oh, it's so far in the distance, you can't focus on it. But it's not too soon that you can't see a big difference. So I love the 90-day thing. I think it's really a great chunk of time to be able to really make a difference in your business. So I love that your strategies are based around 90 days. So if you could check, because you've got 12 ways on your book, it says 12 ways to accelerate your business. If you had to choose just one of those ways to share with my audience today, what is the one way that you would want them to walk away with?
Yeah, the book is like a cookbook. And so there are 12 chapters. There is the marketing chapter, the sales chapter, the client onboarding chapter, client delivery chapter. And then the last one is the hiring chapter. So it's not mandatory to read it like a novel. You can use it like I'm using it. I have it here on my desk. If my marketing doesn't work, I just open the marketing chapter. It says, oh, I should do these 7 things. Oh, I did them, but in the wrong order. And so I go back to start. I do them in the right order. And then it works. So it's like a cookbook. You want to solve sales this week, go directly to the sales chapter. There is always one tool, and it's giving you the checklist, an example, and also a time saver, a tool that will get you directly to do it. Instead of thinking what to do, you can immediately do the exercise. So if I would do just one thing, I would grab the book, and depending on if I'm solving marketing, sales, or client delivery, I will go directly to that chapter and do only what's in there.
Yeah. I love that. I love the fact that you call it a recipe book. That's so Italian of you. Italians love their food. And I really like the fact that even though you say it's not a prescription of like, do chapter 1, then do chapter 2, then do... I love the fact that hiring is the last one, because what I've really got out of our conversation today is that you don't have to hire things out to people to get your time back, and that it all comes from working on these processes in your business. And I love what you said earlier about those $10 tasks being outsourced to software. I think a lot of people don't realize how much help they can get for free by just using softwares that they can use to automate different things. And once you get those processes up and running, then your business can work on autopilot. And you also said, what was it that you said? Oh, crikey. It was really good. You were talking about Oh, I've forgotten it. It just flew out of my head. Oh, that's so annoying. But yes, no, you were talking about all of these ways to save our time. And, by outsourcing those to software, then we can get it back. And the sales process being, these little tweaks that we can do and change to make things work slicker and to be faster and to work better so that we don't have to spend as much time doing it. And I think that that's really important. Oh, this is what you said. You were talking about not focusing so much on your marketing at the beginning of your business, but focusing on those processes and the sales, because you don't need to have a lot of people coming through something that's not really ready for them yet. You want a few people coming through so you can make those tweaks and make it better so that when you're ready, you can ramp up that marketing, go to that marketing chapter in the book, ramp up the marketing and have a seamless system for people to go through so that you're not having to sort of put out fires left, right and center when you've got lots of people coming through it. So I absolutely loved that. And I'm glad I remembered it because it was very good. Is there anything else that you think people should know when it comes to getting time back in their day before we wrap up today?
I guess they are now wondering, but should I improve now operations or sales, or am I already ready to do marketing now? How do I know? We did put together an 8 minutes questionnaire. We call it the game plan audit, where you go through it for 8 minutes and then it tells you this is the one thing that moves the needle most for you right now. And it's either operations or sales or marketing, but it gives you your context and your reason and what you should do.
Oh, fantastic.
People can find it at strategysprints.com.
Fabulous. I will make sure that that is linked in the show notes for you guys. I love the fact that it's like a nice little quick thing that's going to show you exactly where you need to be focused in your business. And obviously people can go and get your book as well, which I would highly recommend. It is next on my list. I've got so many books. It's absolutely insane. I've not got the time to read them, but I'm going to make the time because I'm going to listen to what you've said today and make some changes. So that's fantastic. Now I do have, Simon, before I let you go, I have a quick fire round that I like to do with my guests just to sort of get to know them a little bit in a different way to the business side of things. So obviously you have your own book, and I do speak to a lot of authors. So I always say, besides your own book, what is the one book that has made the biggest impact on your life?
I'm a big reader. So let me pick one. There is a book that I love. It's called The Power of Moments by Cheap Heat and Dan Heat. It's really interesting for entrepreneurs because it says whatever you sell, people will remember only the experience and not even the whole experience, specific moments like the onboarding, a specific peak. And it's a really good book because it goes through examples like the Disney parks or other things. If you go to a Disney park, which moment you remember, and then you go back to your own business and how you deliver it, and you go, which part will they remember? How can I just improve that a little bit? So The Power of Moments is a very good book.
Oh, I love the sound of that one. That's definitely going on my list. I've definitely got to get my book club started because I will never get through all these books that I keep getting recommended to me.
I do run a book club every Thursday.
Do you?
And people don't have to read all the books because it will be presented. So every week there is somebody presenting a book and we just discuss it. I will invite you.
That's a different take. I like that. So what is your go-to snack if you're in a hurry?
Black tea.
I love that. That is the first time somebody said a drink. Well, apart from somebody said a protein shake, but that's a bit more food-based.
Because I'm Italian. If I'm in a hurry, I don't eat at all. I want to enjoy eating. If I'm in a hurry, I just drink and run.
That is exactly that. Yes, because it's a whole culture, isn't it? Eating food around the table with the family and taking your time and enjoying it. Yeah, no, eating's got to be enjoyed. I love that. That's fantastic. Brilliant. And you have spoken a lot today, and I think we probably can tell where your heart lies, the things that you enjoy doing, spending time with your family, being outdoors. But if you had to do something for yourself, just for you, what is your ultimate me time thing to do?
Oh, I do. I start every day with me time, 2 hours of me time. I am the first person that I serve every day. Then my kids, then my wife, then my world, like my professional world. And my thing is really moving in nature. It's running, mountain biking, yoga, outside.
Love that. Love that. I 2 hours. I love. What time do you get up?
4:30 in the morning.
That's where you get those 2 hours from. Okay, guys. So we have spoken on this podcast before about how people use their time, and the 5 a.m. club, and the pressure that if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to get up at a certain time. And I'm not following that. I do not believe in that because I am very much a night owl. I just function better later in the day, and I struggle with getting up. And I'm just like, maybe I will work on it at some point, but I'm not putting the pressure on myself to do it. But there is definitely something to be said for being up at 4:30 in the morning, because that happened to me last Friday. I was looking after my sister's dog, and I happened to wake up and I was thinking, oh God, she's going to want to get up now because she's seen the daylight. And that time of day is just so quiet and peaceful. And I feel like, it is a great time to just be with yourself. So I love that for you. Love that for you. And maybe one day I'll get there to doing it more regularly myself, and not just because I needed to get up. So thank you so much for your time today, Simon. I've really enjoyed our conversation. I can't wait to grab the book and read it. I will link everything in the show notes. Where do people find you on social?
I hang out on YouTube. My channel is called Simon Severino. Also on Instagram, it's Simon Severino, and LinkedIn, Simon Severino. And my whole team is at strategysprints.com. So if you're thinking, hey, Simon, I want to talk about this coaching thing, maybe I should have a sales coach, a sprint coach, then go to strategysprints.com, book a time with us, and then we can explore.
Brilliant. I will link all of those things in the show notes, guys. So do head over there and check out what Simon's doing, because it sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today, Simon. I really appreciate it.
Donna, thank you for doing this, and everybody keep rolling.
Such a great conversation with Simon. I hope you will agree and that you got a lot out of it. Please do go and follow Simon on social. Go and grab his book, Strategy Sprints, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.